A new city, a new venue, and 2 players looking to do the double. EPT5 San Remo winner Jason Mercier and a young Canadian still in shock over his recent victory in Berlin.
It was an amazing experience, and one I'm really hoping I get the chance to duplicate in Madrid.
But there are plenty chasing their first title, including Spaniard Juan Maceres.
We are in the grand final, you know, it's the most important tournament in the whole Europe.
And 2 times ladies event winner Melanie Weisner.
I've had a lot of success in the women's field and I've been trying to duplicate it in the main event. Maybe this tournament will be it.
It's grand final time for season 7 of the PokerStars.com European Poker Tour. So you may have noticed something different. This is not Monte Carlo, but in fact the stunning Spanish capital, Madrid. This city is steeped in history and culture, which makes it the perfect place to finish season 7 of the world's richest poker tour. And we say bye-bye French Riviera and viva España.
The grand final is for sure the crown of the EPT.
You know, it's the tournament number 1 in the Europe.
It's a big buy-in, it usually gets a big field and a big prize pool.
Welcome to the EPT Grand Final held this season at the Casino Gran Madrid. A venue perfectly suited to host the most prestigious stop on the tour, where 10,000 euros puts the world's best players in the mix to win some serious money and the bragging rights of becoming champion.
Feeling good, excited to be here. This is the tournament that you want to win. I haven't won an EPT yet, but if I'm going to win one, might as well be this one.
Winning a grand final EPT would be huge.
On day 1A and day 1B, a total of 686 players took to the felt.
I'm definitely excited, and it's going to be a good tournament for me.
Creating a prize pool of a whopping €6,860,000, with first taking a cool 1.5. But after the dust settled, just 301 remain going into day 2, and only 104 of them will get paid. Who will have what it takes to go the distance? Young Canadian Ben Wilanowski is already looking for his second title.
To win 2 events in the same EPT season would just be absolutely unbelievable.
His friend Melanie Weisner ran deep in this event last year. Can she go a step further? Juan Maceres already has 2 EPT final tables. It's time for him to make his mark on home soil.
Winning this will mean a lot for me.
Raymond Wu is a team pro who would like to follow up his London final table in 2006 with another deep run here. This is day 2, and it's time to get down to business with our commentators James Hartigan and Joe Stapleton.
And a huge welcome to the new home of the EPT Grand Final. But we have some familiar faces at our feature table.
Jason Mercier should be familiar. He's won $1 million on the EPT every year for the last 3 years.
If you lose, you lose. If you play good and you're unlucky, you lose. If you play bad, you get lucky, you win.
That's EPT veteran Marcel Lusk, and there's Raymond Wu, who made the final table of EPT London in 2009. That's how they're seated around the table. Jason Mercier about average in chips right now. Marcel Lusk on the short side with under 35,000. As the action gets underway, the blinds are 600 and 1,200 with a 100 ante. 301 players remain from the 686 who started. Action has been folded around to Ion Pavel from Romania.
Pavel has a couple of cashes in past EPT events.
There's King 10 of spades.
Starting off today with about 54 big blinds.
Under the gun +3. Counting chips for a raise. He's going to make it 2,600.
Pretty standard raise with suited Broadway cards. For Jason, this could be a 3-bet. He's not quite in position, and he's not closing the action.
With ace-jack of diamonds, he will make the call.
I seriously hope Jason doesn't accidentally walk into a bullfight in that outfit later.
Carlos Mora from Mexico will call as well from the cutoff with king-jack of hearts. Raymond Wu's on the button with sevens.
2 sevens is a hand you don't mind taking a flop multi-ways with, especially in position.
So he will call as well. Small blind folds, big blind folds, four-way action to the flop.
Pavel was the original raiser. He'll be the first to act after the flop.
And that flop is Jack 5-7, a set of sevens for Wu, top pair for Mora and Mercier.
Wu's probably thinking, woohoo.
Pavel checks.
What an action flop. 2 guys with top pair, another with middle set, yes.
Mercier makes it 3,800.
Jason's picked up the betting lead. Wu's doing a good job of looking disinterested.
Mora makes the call.
Not much of a reason for Mora to get away from this yet, even though we know he's dominated. This is a pretty clear-cut spot for a raise for Raymond Wu. With a bet and a call, it's fairly likely he'll get action, and he'll want to charge a little more to anyone who might be drawing.
Makes it 13,000. The initial raiser gets out of the way. So Jason has top.
That's a pretty big raise, 4x, more than 4x. Jason and his top do have some cause for concern.
And he makes a very disciplined fold. Carlos Mora has a pair of jacks with a king kicker, and he folds as well.
Raymond Wu's button raise gets mad respect.
He wins a nice pot, but what about Mercier getting away from that hand?
Made a great read, folded top pair, top kicker. And he's looking pretty proud of himself, but like my high school gym teacher used to say, quit waiting for the award ceremony and get back in there.
Jason's won an EPT title and a high roller title on the tour. We have a trio of Grand Final champions still remaining, including Nicholas Schwiti, the Season 6 winner, Rob Hollink, who took down this event in Season 1, taking a break from the action right now. But Season 5 winner Peter Korver is involved in a hand. He's all in fact, and has been called by Melanie Weisner.
Melanie won the ladies event in Prague in 09 and went wire to wire in the ladies event at the Grand Final last year.
Korver is racing here with 2 overcards against Weisner's sixes. He needs to hit on the river, needs a king or a queen. The board bricks out for De Korver, and he's sent to the rail. There'll be no repeat for the Season 5 winner.
I hear that iPad has some great virtual tours of Madrid.
Melanie Weisner chipping up to 220,000.
Just 183 big blinds, no big deal.
That'll make her one of the chip leaders right now. In fact, she is second in chips behind the Swedish player David Sonlin. Also up there in the top 5, Ben Wilanowski, this year's Berlin champion, and Alex All-In Gomez. There is Ben Wilanowski, fresh off the back of his first ever live cash. And what a cash, 825,000 euros. He's sharing a table with EPT regular and local boy Juan Maceras. Looking to become the first ever Spanish EPT winner, looking to take down this title on home soil. From a bit further afield, there is Ted Spooky Forrest.
They call him Spooky because he's supposed to be eerily good at making reads.
And there's my boy William Reynolds.
Yeah, you're right. That's what blind not blind is.
And it looks like the American is about to utter a very American phrase. I'm walking here.
Look at that respect. Everyone folding to him in the big blind.
There's Eugene Kachlov, the winner of the first ever PCA Super High Roller Championship back in January.
Well, let's return to our featured table.
Raymond Wu's still depressed over not getting any value out of that set of sevens. Wu is me.
Action has been folded to the Icelandic player Kjartan Jonsson. He's not going to play. Marcel Lusk has 6 deuce off suit.
Marcel Lusk's a guy that no matter what 2 cards he holds, he's always suited.
Nice. Not going to play. Jan Pavel folds the button, so we have a blind-on-blind situation here. Jason Mercier in the small with 7-9 off suit.
A lot of players are going to raise any 2 cards, small to big. I believe 9-7 qualifies as any 2, but I should consult my hand rankings chart.
He's made it 2,800.
And because raising ranges are so wide, small to big, the defense range is pretty wide as well. And somehow Mora's got Mercier dominated.
And he has made the call. They go to the flop. 3-10-7. Both players with a pair of sevens. Mora's kick is good. Jason checks to him.
Mercier in pretty bad shape for now.
Mora's made it 5,000.
Once Jason's checked, Mora would probably fire a lot of flops. It's not likely Jason will fold a pair to just 1 bet when Mora could certainly be firing with air.
He has made the call. The turn card is another 7. This could spell danger for Jason Mercier.
Oh boy, I hope Jason packed his ice skates because this is a cold deck.
Check, check, and a queen on the river gives Mora the full house.
Jason's kicker no longer plays.
Jason's playing 60,000 behind. There's 16.5 in the middle. He is going to value bet his trip sevens.
Well, James, I would expect a raise.
I would sincerely hope so. Question is, how big is that raise going to be?
I'm all in.
Enough to put Mercier all in.
And that's the appropriate facial response.
Such a weird line.
Jason seems a little suspicious. He's got a real decision to make because it's possible Mora makes the same shove with smaller sevens, even though those hands would all be chopping. I think by shoving, however, Mora's given Jason the best possible chance to get away from this.
7-3.
Mercier's tournament life is on the line here. And he's made the call. Jason Mercier will be eliminated from the EPT Grand Final.
Yeah, checking him again isn't going to change anything. Jason's having a hard time coming to terms. He doesn't even know how to get knocked out of a poker tournament. It happens so infrequently. But you got to respect the lack of pity show.
Sorry, Jason. That's all right. Good luck, guys.
I'm not sure who's more crushed about this, Jason or Carlos.
I'm sure Jason's just confused. I'm sure right now he's looking for the final table.
This is the world's richest poker tour. In 7 seasons, the EPT has amassed more than 238 million euros in prize money, with many of the champions enjoying paydays of a cool million and some. Who will be the next to enter the history books and take down the first prize of 1.5 million here in Madrid?
Well, last year's San Remo winner, Liv Barry, is a member of the Millionaires Club. She's a short stack right now, facing a raise in the big blind. She has ace-jack, and she is going for it. And Emil Matson, with ace-7, will make the call, putting Liv at risk, but she is 68% favorite to double up here.
And the words of the Terminator, come with me if you want to live. Oh no, 7 in the door. This could be Liv's judgment day.
Liv is going to need a jack on the river. But it's an 8. So Liv Barry is knocked out of the PokerStars.com European Poker Tour Grand Final.
Remember, Liv, the future is what you make of it.
Plenty of ladies still left in, though, including the chip leader, Melanie Weisner.
You made the adjustment for the 300 chips.
Yeah. Trial and error, you know.
There's former hockey player Fatima de Melo looking to be on course for her 3rd consecutive EPT cash. There's a trio of Spanish senoritas, Ana Laura Marquez, Leo Margetz, and Maria Maceres, sister of Juan.
So you gave me your luck, right?
I heard she taught her Hermano everything he knows.
Well, Juan's involved in a big hand against Ben Wilanovsky. Maceres with 7s, Wilanovsky has paired his jack on the flop. And on the river, Juan has checked to Ben, he's checked behind. And Wilanovsky will win the pot.
Yeah.
If I had to give Maceres some advice on his game, try not to get outflopped.
At least he managed to get away from that one relatively cheaply. So cue the rub down from the EPT Berlin champion.
Silence.
What? We found the mute switch for Ben Wilanovsky. Let's return to our feature table. Well, action is on Marcel Lusk. He's not going to play. Jan Pavel has folded. Carlos Mora raises from the button. He has 8-9 of hearts, makes it 3,200. Ace-queen for Raymond Wu in the small blind.
Most players will 3-bet ace-queen in the small blind, though not always with ace-queen suited.
Instead, he calls.
Calling is a little more common with ace-queen suited because it's going to connect with the flop more often.
And I was kind of hoping this guy wouldn't play a hand. It's Domantas Klimčiauskas from Lithuania who makes the call as well. And every player has hit something on the flop. Top pair for Wu and Klimčiauskas, second pair for Mora. It's been checked to him and he continues for 6,500.
C-bets are somewhat mandatory in a lot of spots, but this was kind of an ideal spot to check behind. Moore's hand has okay equity, but he really can't stand the call of raise.
Wu just calls. Klimchauskas has about 40,000 behind.
He might think he has the best hand.
He shoves. He set up the check raise.
That's not for me.
Mora gets out of the way.
Wu should be pretty stoked to get it all in with top pair, top kicker against the short stack, though this call would be for almost half his stack, so you can see why he's sweating it just a bit.
I call.
He makes the call. And Klimchauskas is in horrible shape.
Klim is going to need a jack or running straight cards.
One more time.
Nice call.
Klim, discuss.
He needs to hit on the turn or river. No help from on the turn. He's drawing to 3 outs on the river.
Wu just has to fade 3 jacks.
Oh, there it is. A double up for the Lithuanian. And a tough beat for Raymond Wu.
Raymond Wu looks wound-dead. Oh, you will woo the day you ever sucked out on Raymond Wu.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boris Becker's in the house. Has he been golfing?
Actually, James, I believe he's a tennis player.
Thanks for that, Joe. He's actually now a poker player. He played in the main event. He's just stopped by to say hello to fellow sports star Fatima de Melo.
Just like my high school, all the jocks hanging out together.
Blinds are up to 800, 1600 with a 200 ante. Raymond Wu folds under the gun. Klimchauskas gets rid of the jack deuce. Darren Elias has pocket kings.
Hey-oh, the American with Cowboys. It's fitting.
He's going to raise it to 3,500. Action's been folded to Marcel Lusk. Sitting on the button with Jack 10 suited.
Perfect hand to call with on the button.
Marcel is pretty short, starting the hand with around 35,000, so he's committed 10% of his stack pre-flop. And look at this, Carlos Mora's going to call as well this 6-3. He's like me, he believes folding is boring.
That's pretty loose, pretty loose.
It's a jack high flop. Now this could get Marcel into trouble.
The Flying Dutchman could end up the Crying Dutchman if he decides to make a go of it with top pair.
Well, Mora has checked because he has garbage.
Great spot for a continuation bet from Darren Elias.
He does continue for 6,200.
Marcel's in a bit of trouble here with top pair. However, he's got a lot of backdoor outs. Almost half the deck will give him more outs on the river.
He's announced raise to 17,200. Well, he's committed his stack here.
Marcel's only got about half the pot left behind, so I assume Elias is going to make him play for all of it.
There's the all-in.
Marcel has to call.
And Marcel will see. He needs a 10, a jack, or running diamonds.
4 outs for now, but remember, plenty of backdoor draws.
An 8 on the turn does give him more outs. He could now hit a 9 for a straight.
That's right, he just doubled his outs.
But it's a deuce on the river. So Marcel Lusk hits the rail.
Marcel's an accomplished singer and songwriter. He should write a bust-out ballad. No, I'm not going to sing an example.
Pretty please?
All right, I will. Well, I've just busted out. All right, you can get the rest on my website.
Do you want me to do my best Simon Cowell impersonation?
Please.
Distinctly average.
Okay, I'll take it.
Well, on one of our outer tables, Barcelona finalist Sander de Vries has bet his straight draw on the turn. Ted Forrest has called with a pair of 8s. The river bricks out for Sander.
Let's see if he wants to bluff at it.
And he's going to check it. A value bet from Ted?
Not really a spot for value.
No, he checks behind.
We referred to Ted earlier by one of his older nicknames, Spooky, not because he's white as a ghost, but because people used to say he was eerily good at making reads, and that was a pretty good read on the turn.
Ted Forrest continues to chip up. He comes to Madrid off the back of his 38th place at San Remo. He has 5 World Series of Poker bracelets to his name. He won 3 of them in the same year, back in 1993.
Also one of the world's all-time great prop bettors, recently won $2 million for losing 50 pounds in a weight loss bet.
More outer-table action in a great spot for Melanie Weisner. Joel Nordqvist has moved all in with 8s, and he's run into Melanie's queens.
Melanie, the 4-1 favorite at the start of this hand. Nordqvist, the 4-1 favorite for me mispronouncing his name.
Well, your 20% shot got there. His didn't. He is eliminated. And more chips for Melanie Weisner. Sitting on a monster stack now, 493,000.
Let's find out.
We just told you, 493,000.
EPT is my favorite circuit. Buying in for 10K, winning 1.5 million, get rich kind of thing is attractive to everyone. But for me, even though that's like what drew me in, I found that I stayed with poker because it was very mentally challenging. It's almost kind of like an anthropological study at the table. I won the women's tournament in the grand final last year, which was actually, I think, the largest women's tournament the EPT has had. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah, I've had a lot of success in the women's field and been trying to duplicate it in the main events. I've gotten close, but not quite so far. Finished 12th in EPT Prague, and maybe this tournament will be it.
Melanie Weisner looks like such the toughie, but then the giggle.
Melanie's currently sitting atop the leaderboard with a stack of nearly $500,000. Second position, Alex Gomez with 356K. Also in the top 10, Ben Wilanovsky, Juan Maceras, and late-night poker legend, Surinder Sunar. Well, let's bring some of those big stacks to our feature table. EPT Berlin champion Ben Wilanovsky is going to take a seat, along with another very aggressive player, two-time EPT final tableist Juan Maceras, plus Sweden's David Sonnelin, currently sitting on 285K. So here we go with our new feature table.
Good luck to you. You're French, right?
Yeah.
Where in France?
Nobody's perfect.
Sorry?
I'm from Toulouse.
Oh, okay.
Toulouse. What about to win?
Well, let's talk about...
This is the south of France.
South, yeah, I know. I'm not that dumb. I know a little bit.
Yeah, but what country is it in?
Well, the man sitting across from Ben is Frenchman Jean-Claude Perrault. Blinds are up to 1,200, 2,400 with a 200 ante. And the action is on Andre Alcaria. He'll fold. Jean-Claude Perrault looks down at Jack-9 of diamonds. My lucky hand.
Your favorite hand, notwithstanding, playing Jack-9 suited under the gun +1 is un petit loose, monsieur.
He's raised it to 7,000. Juan Maceras sticks his hoodie up as he looks down at deuces.
I'm willing to let Perrault go on the loose play, but a raise to 7,000 is a bit much. Nobody's raising 3x anymore, and sometimes more experienced players use this as a way to spot less experienced players.
Maceras makes the call with deuces.
Likely set mining.
Govert Matal folds the 4-6 of hearts. Action on Wilanovsky.
Well, there's only one deuce left in the deck to hit. Hardigan, think fast. What James Bond movie is he sporting on that t-shirt?
For your eyes only, he wore the same t-shirt at the EPT Berlin final table. I hope he's washed it since then. He's going to 3-bet with his king deuce to 19,500.
And it looks like, in addition to that shirt, Ben Wilanovsky has also got his squeezing shoes on.
Back on Perrault.
See, if Perrault had opened for less, he'd be losing less right now when he folds, or option C, Wilanovsky can't 3-bet as much because the pot's smaller.
Perrault gets out of the way. Maceras, on the other hand, has reached for chips.
Maceras not wanting to give away any mouth tells. He looks like Vader when the helmet comes off in Jedi.
Hey, raise.
He's announced raise. We're going to see a 4-bet.
Ooh, how much is it going to be? Want to play prices right? 20,000. Higher. 30,000. Higher.
The tension's almost bearable. The answer is 54,300.
And this is how most bar fights start. Two guys puffing their chests out without much to back it up.
How much do you have behind, please?
Juan's actually answering. You just can't hear him. 183,000.
That'll be 183,000.
Come on, man.
Wow, a 5-bet shove from Wilanovsky.
Juan no longer masking tells. Boy, oh boy, if he only knew how well he was doing up against King Deuce. It's about as big a favorite as deuces can be pre-flop.
He mucks it. And Wilanovsky's bold aggression pays off one more time.
And that was just a tale of two great reads. Ben Wilanovsky pushed harder. Pretty impressive.
We are edging ever closer to the money bubble, but it's the first prize of 1.5 million euros that the players really want.
Do you like to play in an EPT event? Well, if you're already a registered PokerStars.com player, you're all set. But if not, get online and download the free game software at PokerStars.com and you could win a seat to the next EPT event from the comfort of your own home. Spanish capital and the grand final of EPT Season 7.
We're getting closer to the money bubble. Just 104 get paid. Latest casualties include 2 Spanish senoritas and 2 previous grand final champions, Rob Hollink and Nicholas Schweety. At the feature table, it hasn't taken long for 2 aggressive players to tangle. Who will get the better of the other as we get deeper into day 2?
Crazy pace. I mean, let me guess. I'd say you were a little bit over-aggressive. Really? You don't say. Do you have any other tips for me? No. This is the only one I can say right now.
It's amazing how intimidating these guys can be until they start talking. Underneath all the turtlenecks and aviator sunglasses, they're just kids. Millionaire genius kids.
So 187 players remain. We're 83 away from the money. And here's another example of Ben Wilanowski's aggression, raising under the gun with 9-7 suited.
At least they're suited.
Action's passed around to the button.
5-1.
5-5.
5-5 Poirot.
Jean-Claude Perrault has 3-6 off. He'll muck. Maceras in the small blind has 8s.
Certainly a playable hand.
He is going to play. He will call Wilanowski's raise. Matal has 7-9, the same hand as Wilanowski, but it's not suited.
Looks like he's looking at defending. Wilanowski and Matal are in bad shape to 2-8s from Jump Street, but it's looking pretty dismal now considering they're each blocking a third of each other's outs.
So 3-way to the flop, and that flop is Queen 3-3.
8s are still good.
Wilanowski does have backdoor diamonds working for him.
Check back around to the original raiser.
He continues for 7,800. And a very quick call from Maceras, not worried about that queen at all. Matal gets out the way.
Maceras quite aware of Wilanowski's aggression.
Well, there goes Ben's diamond draw.
That's not exactly a good card for 2-8s, but Maceras isn't looking at the board. He's got Wilanowski in the death stare.
Wilanowski may try to represent the ace.
He may feel like that ace is a good card to continue continuing on.
He bets again, 17,700. And Maceras insta-calls.
Maceras might also be well aware of the fact that the ace is just a good card to keep firing at.
The river's a 4.
If Juan liked his 8s on the turn, he's likely to still like them now.
Well, he's checked a 3rd time. Will Wilanowski bet a 3rd time?
Pretty sure he knows he's not winning with 9 high. The question is, will Wilanowski pull the trigger? I'm actually not even entirely convinced Maceras can be bluffed off this hand. I think he's got a perfect read on this situation. Ben certainly taking his time. Even the dealer's eyes are gently suggesting that he make a decision.
Well, he is counting out chips.
Check.
Check.
Of 9 high.
He's given up. And Maceras shows the 8s for the win.
I wish you bet because I'm gonna look like a hero call because I was calm.
I believe you.
You look nice in the camera. But I was calm.
I believe you.
Maceras with the unnecessary needle. You don't have to take that, Ben. Throw on the aviator. Show him who's boss.
Wilanowski's still on course for his 2nd ever live cash here in Madrid.
I haven't had a cash in a live tournament over 30 some odd tournaments. It's incredible and it hasn't sunk in yet. It was really just one of the best experiences of my life. The next day I got up and just walked around the city for a couple of hours and looked at, everything was so sharp and vivid and beautiful. I went to the zoo with a couple of good friends. That was really awesome, and then I went back to Sweden and we had a party there. I actually had a press conference in Canada arranged by a PR firm, which was a really strange experience. And I wasn't expecting to see my family and friends that soon. I was expecting to see them after Madrid, so it was great to be back. It was just an unbelievable feeling, and one I'm really hoping I get the chance to duplicate in Madrid. To win 2 events in the same EPT season would just be absolutely unbelievable. It would mean the world to me if I could do it. It would be such an incredible rush and a thrill and an unbelievable achievement, a feather in my cap, and also, of course, a lot of money. I'm sure I can't do it justice. I can't put it into words until I actually experience it.
I think a feathered cap would go well with Ben's aviator sunglasses and James Bond t-shirt, or as I like to call him, the spy who shoved on me.
Thanks for sharing that one. We've got out-of-table action. Oh no, it's the rat-wielding Frenchman, Lucien Cohen.
James, I'm new to the EPT. What's up with this guy?
Trust me, you don't want to know. Noah Boken's all in with 5s, and he's running to Victor Ramdan's 10s.
Noah Boken, the 4-to-1 favorite to go broken.
And the situation gets worse as Victor flops a set of 10s.
Diamonds.
Now Noah will need runner.
6 of diamonds.
Well, that's no help.
Boken drawing dead.
That's my 7. Oh, so we're at 30.
So the Dutch pro hits the rail.
1600.
And Noah will now recite the hand to our sob story archivist.
Victor Ramdan raking in the pot. He's now sitting on 217,000. That's going to make him one of the top 10 stacks in the tournament. He's 9th overall. Melanie Weissner still has the chip lead. And look at that. Proof that working with me brings you instant run good. William Reynolds is currently 5th in chips.
Is it too late for me to register?
Yes. Ben Wilanowski, 6th in chips overall with a stack of 297,000, but it's Sweden's David Sonlin who has the chip lead at our feature table. 162 players remain. 104 will get paid. Actions on Juan Maceras, looking down at ace-king under the gun.
Time to assume the position and raise it up.
Makes it 5,500. Gets a fold from Wilanowski. 10-7 for Martinez, he mucks. As does Garber Haukson. Sonlin not interested. Nor is Andre Alcaria. So Jean-Claude Perrault in the big blind will defend with Queen 9.
Thank goodness we can count on Jean-Claude Perrault to get involved out of position and with the worst of it.
yellow. Okay.
Heads up to the flop, which is Queen High. Perrault takes the lead. He checks it, and Maceras checks behind. No continuation bet. And he takes the lead on the turn with the King of Spades.
Can't really blame Perrault for checking the flop. He's supposed to check the pre-flop aggressor. Unfortunately, Maceras just simply caught up.
Now he bets 6,800. A quick call from Perrault.
Perrault calls in really bad shape, but you can't blame him. He played pot control on the flop.
6 of hearts on the river changes nothing. And Perrault checks for a 3rd time.
Should be a pretty easy spot for a value bet from Maceras.
27,600 in the pot. He makes it 21K.
This is a 3/4 pot bet, pretty big. Perrault would be wise to consider folding at this point. Maceras raised pretty early pre-flop and seemed to not at all be afraid of that king.
Well, Perrault makes the call and sees the bad news. And he'll muck.
Look at that.
Sure we don't have to bleep that?
Maceras now up to 238,000 in chips. On course for his 6th EPT cash. He's made 2 final tables, in Prague in Season 5 and in Warsaw in Season 4. His best result to date, 6th place for 87,500 euros.
It doesn't even take into account Juan's successes online, which are numerous.
And now he's looking for a title on home soil. Actions on the table chip leader, David Sonlin. He's going to raise it up with King 9 suited.
Someone's starting to get a little bored.
Come on in.
And there's a shove from Andre Alcaria, the short stack with pocket 7s. And Perrault wakes up in the hijack with queens. He reshoves.
Alcaria had less than 17 big blinds. Perrault shoving for just 5K more.
Action folded back around to the initial raiser. Sonlin getting a pretty good price.
How much you got?
47.
47. Okay.
For 46, he was in.
He gets out of the way, and Alcaria is at risk and 4-1 underdog. A 6-3-5 flop gives him additional outs, though. He could hit a 4 now for a straight.
That's right, by flopping a gut shot, he just tripled his outs.
A 9 on the turn gives him even more outs.
Now he's double gutted. He was a 2-outer pre-flop, now a 10-outer on the turn.
An 8, a 7, or a 4 needed for him to double up. It's an 8! He makes a straight on the river, and he will survive and cripple Jean-Claude Perrault.
Charles de Gaulle rolling over in his grave at this French on French violence. He is not happy.
Epic understatement.
Pas vrai, quoi. Il va me bouffer ça, moi, mais c'est pas vrai que je sois noir comme ça, ce jeu, quoi. C'est pas vrai que je sois noir comme ça.
I'm not sure where he's going. He's still got chips.
James, I don't speak French, but I'm pretty sure he's saying, nice hand, sir. Please enjoy the safe return of this microphone, and let me know if you need me to do any exit interviews. All the best. Au revoir.
Well, hopefully he'll come back to play his 2 big blind stack. Meanwhile, on the outer tables, the clock has been called on Leo Fernandez.
1 minute tagged on your hand. At the end of the 1 minute, you receive a 10-second countdown at which point your hand will be down.
We don't know what Leo has, but Ivan Freitas, who called the clock on him, is sitting there with quad deuces.
James, as the analyst, I'm going to go ahead and say that Fernandez is probably behind. For his sake, maybe the tournament director will count very quickly.
30 seconds.
30 seconds to make a decision, Leo.
Yeah, he's so idiot.
He's called.
A little bit of a delayed reaction there. It's like he didn't even consider quads a possibility. Most don't. And that's when the attack comes. Not from the front, but the side, from the other 2 you didn't even know was there.
Ivan Freitas up to 168,000 in chips. Meanwhile, Leo's Latin buddy is having a very solid day. Alex Gomez is currently 2nd in chips and is raking in another pot. Back at our feature table, Jean-Claude's back.
I don't have a very good hand.
He's all in blind.
Me too. Good luck. What's that?
All in with 8-9. Wilanovsky with King 4. Marginal favorite heading to the flop.
If Perrault couldn't make queens hold up, I don't know what shot he's got at 8-9 off.
Wilanovsky pairs his 4 on the flop and is now a 3-1 favorite.
The 4 doesn't really matter. Perrault still needs to hit an 8 or a 9.
8 of clubs.
No, no, no. You can't ask for the 8 outright. You got to ask for a sweat.
You don't need claps, no?
It's the Jack of clubs.
See, there's the sweat on the turn. Perrault picks up 4 more outs.
An 8 or a 9 or a 10, or the Frenchman might kick off again.
That's the hot new jam by Rihanna.
6 of diamonds means that this time he is eliminated.
And this time he's taking it quite well.
Good game. Nice playing with you.
Au revoir.
The bubble is in sight at the PokerStars.com EPT Grand Final.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
Welcome back to the PokerStars.com EPT Grand Final from Madrid, where the money bubble is in sight. Raymond Wu has had a quiet day since leaving the feature table, but looks comfortable of making the money. Things are looking up for fellow team pro Juan Maceras. After an up-and-down day, he's knocked out Metal to chip up nicely pre-bubble. 112 remain.
Well, Juan's sister Maria has shoved for her last 47,000, and Victor Ramden has called from the big blind. He's got ace-6. Maria has king 4.
Maria's going to need a little home field run good if she wants to join her bro up on the leaderboard.
Well, the flop does bring a 4, but it also brings a 6 for Victor.
That means she's going to need a king or another 4 to survive.
And it can't be a spade. That would give Ramden a flush.
Now it's got to be a king or a 4, and it's got to be red.
The river is a 10.
Good luck, everyone.
So we lose Maria Maceras.
Just 7 out of the money. Brutal finish. Small to big with 12 big blinds, though. It's pretty automatic.
Victor Ramden up to 392K.
Hello, Mom. It's Maria. Juan's still in. Can you come pick me up? Please?
Well, Melanie Weisner's still laughing. She is still in the top 5, but is no longer the tournament chip leader. The reason why? This young man.
OMG, somebody check his ID.
Ola Christian Nørgaard has Chris Minley at risk here. Minley needs a king or a diamond and doesn't get it. So he's eliminated.
Got to be even more frustrating getting busted by a guy who's going to prom next week. And look at that chip stack. Someone needs to tell this kid to clean up his room.
That's what 710,600 chips looks like when not stacked properly. Blinds are up to 2,000, 4,000 with a 400 ante. And Shanda de Vries has joined us on the feature table.
Wilanowski now the chip leader at this table. Looks like he's still keeping the pressure on.
It's been folded to him in the cutoff, and he's raised it up to 8,800 with his Queen 9. Martinez with Jack 7 on the button, will fold, as will Haukson. David Sonnelin has Ace 6 in the big, and he's making the call.
Defending his big blind and maybe well aware of Wilanowski's propensity to raise.
The flop is 5-5-6. Sonnelin was in the lead pre-flop. He's in the lead post-flop.
Though no monster, Sonnelin's got top pair.
He's checked, and Wilanowski, as he likes to do, all bet.
There's the C-bet. Even though it's just a pair of sixes, you shouldn't be folding top-top on this board.
And there's the call from Sonnelin.
5 check.
Queen on the turn, sees Wilanowski take the lead. Sonnelin checks again.
Still checking to the last aggressor.
Well, if the bet on the flop was just a standard C-bet, this is a bet for value, 31,200.
Sonnelin may have a tough time telling that queen hit Wilanowski. This bet will likely look like Wilanowski trying to bluff him off a 6.
So he makes the call. There's 112,000 in the middle. The Jack of clubs on the river doesn't change anything. Sonnelin checks a third time.
Backdoor clubs did just come in, but still I'd expect Wilanowski to attempt a value bet here.
142,800.
Holy robotic overbet, Batman.
How much?
142,800.
Jeez, Wilanowski's moody when he merges. This bet is supposed to look polarized, but instead it's just top pair, no kicker. He's trying to level Sonnelin into thinking he's got nuts or air, preferably air, and then make a hero call.
It's a big bet.
I know, 142,800. Scott Sonnelin wondering about the bet size. This play could be working.
I have a blocker on the 6, so you can't have 6s. I fold.
Good laydown, sir.
Nice bet.
Nice bet of 142,800.
We're going to play some fun hands online after you see this one.
So Wilanowski consolidates his chip lead over the rest of the feature table. We are just 4 away from the money now.
Dennis Chufrin and Eugene Kachalov involved in some hot Ukrainian on Ukrainian action here.
And Chufrin is the player at risk, but he's monster favorite. Kachalov needing to hit a queen. 3 outs in the deck. Doesn't hit it. So Chufrin doubles up through his fellow countryman.
And the Ukrainian's gonna take it.
Helpful. From one high roller champion to another, William Reynolds comfortably sitting on a big stack right now. On an adjacent table, Ayaz Manji has just been knocked out by Daniel Weinman. So that means we are down to 105 players. We have hit the bubble. 104 will get paid. The next player out gets nothing.
All right, hand-for-hand play has begun.
And on our feature table, action is on Jordi Martinez. King 8 off, he passes. Garber Haukson has folded, as has David Sonnelin. Santiago Nadal doesn't want to play. Andre Alcaria has mucked. Eterio Perotta, a recent addition to our feature table, will pass that hand. And Juan Maceras will give up his button, so we're blind on blind.
Some tight bubble play.
Queen 7 for Shanda de Vries.
Don't do it, I'm trapping you.
Wilanowski just daring de Vries to raise his blind. Queen high is going to be good against most random hands.
Is that all? That's wow. You must be a glutton for punishment. How much did you start the hand with?
250. I haven't played a hand at the final table, so.
It's not the final table.
Oh, TP table.
You idiot.
All right, well, those are some harsh words. With a suited ace, Wilanowski knows he's pretty likely to have the best hand.
10,000 apiece, they go to the flop, and ace-high still good.
Wilanovsky also flops a wheel draw. De Vries is out of position and first to act.
He continues. 11,000.
Wilanovsky's played more aggressively than Jason Voorhees after 3 espressos. Let's see how he handles this spot on the money bubble.
No real surprise that he's raising. Makes it 27,200.
Wilanovsky knows that he could have the best hand, and he's also semi-bluffing his draw.
Make it 49. 49. 49.
I'm gonna go get the papers. Get the papers. Get the papers.
De Vries will 3-bet.
He's made a pretty good read that Wilanovsky is weak, but I'm wondering if his repetition of the bet size might be a little telling. Boy, Wilanovsky just does not fold.
He makes the call in position, and we go to the turn, which is the 10 of hearts.
I'm sure no one really likes that heart.
De Vries, with the disadvantage of being out of position, is forced to check to Wilanovsky.
De Vries was the last aggressor, so he's just given up the lead. Wilanovsky was semi-bluffing on the flop, just not with hearts, but it looks like he's going to try to rep them anyways.
55,800.
This is a pretty small bet, less than half the pot. De Vries actually has a decent amount of equity, but there's no way he can know that.
He's done with it. And Wilanovsky wins another huge pot.
Told you I was trapping you.
Had you looked at your hand before that? Had you looked at your hand before that?
No.
Oh, okay. Nice one.
Thank you.
I think it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Well, out in the field, Jean-Louis is all in on the bubble, but she has kings against Ted Forrest's ace-king. And on that flop, she's now an 87% favorite to double up.
Most of this room is cheering for Ted to hit his ace. If he does, she'll be the bubble girl.
The 7 of hearts on the turn gives her a flush draw as well. Ted Forrest drawing to a black ace. Doesn't hit, so Jean-Louis will double up and survive.
Oh, will this bubble ever burst?
Possibly, because there's an all-in at another of our outer tables. It's the Frenchman, Damien Aroni, who's shoved with ace-king. He's been called by Ivan Freitas with jacks. They're practically flipping. Not a good flop for ace-king.
No longer a coin flip. I think I can see the bubble forming around Roni's head.
He needs an ace or a king. He doesn't get it. Ivan Freitas wins the hand, and Damien Roni is eliminated in 105th place. The bubble has burst. The other 104 players in the room are in the money.
Congratulations, everyone, and the best part, the day's also over. Get a good night's rest.
They'll return for day 3, knowing they're guaranteed at least 15,000 euros, and now it's about making it to the final table. And coming into tomorrow as the tournament chip leader is the young Norwegian, Ole Christian Nergard. The other big stacks include Melanie Weisner, William Reynolds, Ben Wilanovsky, and Victor Ramden.
All eyes are on Juan Maceras, as no Spaniard has ever won an EPT title.
This is the most important tournament in the whole Europe.
Or will Eugene Katalov be adding to his already jam-packed trophy cabinet?
Winning first place is just nothing like it, really.
A host of formidable talent remain at the EPT Season 7 Grand Final Madrid.